Morning, members. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please remind you to ensure that mobile phones and other devices are on silent, that banners, etc. are not permitted, and members of the public are not allowed to address the meeting, to use the microphones which are available when addressing the meeting, and that you may be filmed or recorded during this meeting. Thank you. Please be upstanding for your chairman.
The Reverend Francis Finn to say prayers, please.
Thank you. And just firstly, a big thank you for allowing me to be involved in this last year. It's been a real privilege. So let's just take a moment and focus our thoughts on God. Heavenly Father, I was really struck by the moment in the coronation when King Charles stripped down to what looked like a nightie as he was anointed. And it's a great reminder that we are all just people, all equal, but you call us to serve. And you, Lord, give us things to take care of. So I thank you for these good people here, the way they care about this county and give so much time to it, the way they share your desire to make it a place of fairness where we can all thrive. Thank you for Roger and his time as chairman and for his heart for the people of Ukraine. And we offer you all the money that's been raised and ask you to bless it and multiply its impact. And so today, we trust that you are ready to provide wisdom in the tough decisions, that you will inspire when we ask you. And in this next year, give this council insight and the focus it needs to serve you and its people well. Be with Councillor Ogle as he steps into some big shoes. And in all the challenges, let there be good times too, some laughter and friendship. And we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Remain standing while we observe a minute's silence in the memory of former county councillors Dick Wilson and Susan Bennett. Thank you. Members, there will be time to say a few words and reflect on their service later in the procedures. Please be seated. Thank you, members. Before I move on to the formal business of the meeting, I have the pleasure of receiving an award from Paul Southby, who was until recently the High Sheriff of Nottinghamshire. The High Sheriff played a pivotal role in the historic event that took place outside County Hall, and Paul has asked that Council receive this award in recognition of and in appreciation of the excellent way in which the Council ensured we marked an important moment of our nation's history. As chairman, I've had the pleasure of working with Paul as High Sheriff. I was honoured to have worked with him in what was a historic year. Paul has asked me to pass on his appreciation to the whole team at the County Council involved in organising the proclamation of the accession of His Majesty King Charles III, following the death of his beloved Queen Elizabeth II last autumn. And I am pleased to say that Julia Foster, Group Manager, is here to accept the award on behalf of her excellent team and colleagues. I would now like to invite Julia to come forward, please. Thank you, members. It's been a very interesting year as your chairman of the County Council. As I say, we started with the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, then unfortunately the death of the Queen. Then we had the proclamation of the new King, the Queen's funeral, and just last weekend, King Charles III's coronation. And I have to say, it's been a great pleasure, honour and privilege to represent Nottinghamshire at all those events. But unfortunately, on top of that, I had to break in a new chief exec as well. So, but I think he's getting to grips with it all now. Yes, okay. I've also had the privilege of meeting their Royal Highnesses Princess Anne and Prince Edward, the new Duke of Edinburgh, along with many other local people in and around Nottinghamshire from very many varied and different backgrounds. I also had the privilege of planting a Sherwood oak and Bramley apple tree down at Winfield House, which is the home of the American ambassador in London. And hopefully that will lead to further better relationships between Nottinghamshire and the American embassy. And there's ongoing talks now with the embassy and the county council. So hopefully we've made good relationships there. Two of the most enjoyable things that I did as your chairman, one was the citizenship ceremonies, which welcomes people who come from many different parts of the world to come and live in Nottinghamshire and apply for British citizenship. And some have some very interesting stories to tell about their journey and how they got there. The other one was entertaining school children from around the county, which members are invited to look around County Hall and see how local democracy works. They were always most enjoyable days, and the tricky bit was trying to answer some of their questions while we had a dummy council meeting in this room. But they were always very enjoyable. I'm sure the children enjoyed it and went away with a different point of view of how councils were run and how local democracy works, because most of them have their own school councils as well. But members, John and Richard will probably find out that you can't do this job without two ladies, Sarah and Laura, who do make sure your diary is up to date and you do get to the right place at the right time. So I would just like to present them with a little prize if Sarah and Laura could come forward, please. And thank you very much for your hard work and making me do things that right. Right, is that the right one?
That's Laura's then.
To my chaplain, Frances Finn, for her support throughout the year and also allowing and arranging for our carol service to be held at her local church, St Nick's on Maid Marian Way. It was a lovely carol service. I know quite a few members went along and enjoyed it. I think she only missed one full council meeting throughout the year, but I think she had a better offer from the bishop that day. So I know where I stand in the pecking order. Yeah. So Frances, I've got a little something for you. And of course, I need to thank Gilly, who's been my consort, my right arm for most of this year, making sure I'm always dressed smartly and always looked immaculate herself, as you'll probably all know. She has been a great support throughout the year and a really big help in all the fundraising that I have done. So if Gilly would like to come forward. That's brilliant. As you all know, members, as chairman, you either supported charity or good cause throughout your year as being chairman of the county council. And this year, as I became chairman, the Russian invasion was going on in Ukraine, and there was an influx of refugees coming into Nottinghamshire. So I decided to support the Not Ukraine Centre, who have been inundated by the refugees, and were doing everything they could to help them, but needed a lot of support because there were a lot of people coming in. I think there's over 1,000 families now being supported in Nottinghamshire. So, and that's down to the great generosity of the Nottingham people as well as Action Host families. But it's the Ukrainian Centre is their first port of call and organises and helps people get settled into the county. But members, I have to say a great thank you to you all for the support I've had in raising the money for the Ukrainian Centre. Either buying raffle tickets, donating prizes, coming to the events I've arranged, and all my friends as well. I mean, in fact, we managed to raise a total of 27,000 in the year. So, well done to everybody. You can all be proud of what we've been able to achieve as a team. So I would like David and to come forward, please, and collect the cheque. Well, members, that's me done as your chairman. It has been a great honour and a privilege. It's been lovely to represent the county of Nottinghamshire, meet so many people and visit so many different parts of the county. And I wish my success every success in doing the same as I have. Thank you. Now, it's my pleasure to ask for nominations for the county chairman of the county council to the annual meeting of 2024, and I call upon Councillor Tracy Taylor.
Thank you, Chairman. And can I start by thanking you and Ginny for the year of service that you've given this council. It was my privilege to sponsor John Ograw's nomination for Vice Chairman last year, so it's doubly an honour to speak again this year. As many of you will know, John's an arable farmer based in Hedon with a diversified business involved in both food and renewable energy production. His commitment to the environment has been recognised through several award successes, both local and national. He is very much a family man, and I'm pleased to see family and friends here to support him today. We've all known John as the County Councillor for Tuxford Division for the last 10 years, and he's also been the Bassett Lord District Council for East Markham for 20 years. John is honest, stalwart and true. He's always worked hard for the residents across his divisional area, representing his community's best interests. He's served in a raft of voluntary roles from villages and communities and the local party. I know that John will bring the same commitment and energy to his new role as he has to his past year as Vice Chairman and to his very many years of public service. John will be an excellent ambassador for Nottinghamshire, and I'm proud to be able to nominate him to the role of chairman for the forthcoming year.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Can I call upon Councillor Neil Clark to second the motion, please?
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations on your superb, successful year. More of that later. But I'm delighted to be able to second the nomination for Councillor John Ogle to be chairman for this ensuing civic year. As similar to Councillor Taylor, as I said when I seconded his vice chairmanship last year, I've worked with him in the past when he was vice chairman of Transport and Environment Committee. He's shown to be very conscientious. He really focuses in on whatever he wishes to do, and I'm sure and I know that focus will continue in the ensuing year. There's a bit of a run of farmers coming here with your role and then John Ogle's role. I'm not sure if John Ogle's successor will be following that, but there's always time for a change of career, isn't there? But who knows? Anyway, I'm sure that Councillor Ogle will do an admirable job, and I wish him every success in the ensuing year. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Are there any further nominations? If not, I will put this to the vote. All those in favour? I think that is unanimous. Thank you very much indeed. Congratulations, John. That John Ogle has now been elected chairman of the County Council until the annual meeting of 2024. And yet, my shame.
Okay, so John, you're to read the declaration from John. Oh, I need to remove your. I thought you might. Let's do it that way, please. Took the glasses off and put them back on again. Okay. I, John William Ogle, having been appointed to the office of Chairman of Nottinghamshire County Council, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I'll now sign it. Shall we put it on? If you like. There we go. Don't join me next to your portrait and I'll invade. So here it is. The 2023 version. Waiting for our official photographer to arrive for this moment. Been in training. Good. Thank you, members. got it ready. Friends, members and countrymen, good morning everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to receive your confidence which you've just shown and support as the new chairman of Nottinghamshire County Council, and I thank you sincerely for this honour. I am proud to represent you in this role. Nottinghamshire born and bred, I've spent most of my life within this county. I am honoured and privileged to represent the division of Tuxford. The division of Tuxford is an attractive, unspoiled, rural eastern part of Bassetlaw, bounded by the River Trent to its east. I intend to have a charity event located in this beautiful area, which will be a very pleasant experience for those that wish to attend. I am fortunate to be taking over from a tremendous chairman in Roger Jackson, and I congratulate Roger on the great success of his year in office. Roger and Gilly have done fantastic work promoting this council and supporting the Nottinghamshire community, and especially our Ukrainian community, through their outstanding efforts at this difficult time of conflict and suffering for the Ukrainian people. I want to thank those who have supported me in my past year as Vice Chairman. Wendy, who has escorted, is here today, and of course my loyal, fortunate or unfortunate wife, Sally, who is present today. I also want to welcome another guest, Thomas, my son, and his wife, Josie. Being Vice Chairman is, of course, the perfect dry run for becoming Chairman, I hope. I have already had the pleasure of meeting several civic representatives from the other local councils, worked with several Deputy Lord Lieutenants, met the Sheriff of Nottingham and the High Sheriff of Nottinghamshire, and he is the one who carries the sword, as well as police, fire and military representatives. I am delighted to announce that I have chosen the NSPCC, the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, as my chosen charity for my term of office. Sally and I already have a positive relationship with this charity and a great appreciation for the fantastic work that they do. I'm delighted that Katrina Seabird, who is on the balcony and here today, who is the Midlands Hub Relationship Manager, and she's joined us today to represent this charity. The NSPCC is a very proactive operator in the difficult and sensitive area of child protection and development, and as such, their work is complementary to this council's children and family services, especially given the ever-growing focus on early intervention and prevention. You can read more about NSPCC services in an email to be sent out later from the Civic Office. And it will also include a link to my Just Giving page. I give you an assurance that all funds raised during my year in office will be given to the Nottinghamshire branch of the NSPCC for the benefit of children in this county. As members already know, Laura and Sarah are insatiable when it comes to assisting the chairman with fundraising, and they're never short of ideas. But if members have any good additional fundraising ideas of their own, please let us know. For example, if you know where there is any buried gold or treasure, give us the map and we will launch an expedition to dig it up, even if it is hidden deep in Sherwood Forest. If members are helpful and generous in supporting the NSPCC over the next 12 months, then we will not have to resort to intense persuasion, extortion, or other unsavoury methods to obtain your money. While I'm on the topic of coercion, I should say a few words about how I came to be proposed for the vice chairman and now the chairman's role. The Conservative business manager, Councillor Chris Barnfather, asked me into the leader's office, the only time I've been ever summoned into that office, and so I was apprehensive from the beginning. Chris slowly moved a chair forward and asked me to sit down, making me suspect something rather sinister. This wasn't helped when I remembered that in his previous job, he spent his time interrogating hard-nosed murderers. He appeared to be following that same protocol used for disciplinary meetings, so while we awaited the arrival of the leader, in stony silence, I was desperately trying to remember which of my misadventures and misdemeanours was about to come back and bite or haunt me. But I could not find anything in my limited memory to which anyone could take offence. The leader duly arrived and sat down, and I waited for the chief prosecutor, chief whip, business manager to make his case. I feared I was about to be whipped, or to use modern parlance, about to be cancelled, and oven ready for that. So I decided my best form of defence was preemptive denial. I've not done anything wrong. My conscience was clear. It must have been one of the others. It was only then, as I was contemplating a hasty Brexit, that the leader asked me, would you be willing to be chairman of this council? And my first thought was, blimey, now I am really in trouble. I was facing the classic good cop, bad cop routine. The well-practiced introductory menace of the business manager, designed to soften me up to agree to anything, and then the persuasive charm of the council leader, who said he would like me to bring my experience, or was it just age? Old but gold to the role of council chairman. Well, leader, members, the truth is, I am honoured and humbled to have been first nominated for this role by my group and now elected to this role by all of you. I shall carry out these duties to the best of my ability. Every chairman has their own style, and someone described me as old school. I can call upon many years of experience serving no fewer than 22 parish councils, all with their own individual and collective personalities. So it is fair to say I am a true believer in local government in its many forms. Tradition matters in many spheres and areas of life. Tradition matters especially when it comes to chairing council meetings and representing you as your civic representative. We have processes and patterns of accepted behaviour that have been established, tried and tested over time, based on promoting healthy debate and respect for one another. In preparation for this role, I have read the Constitution 3 times, and I recommend colleagues do the same. And that's education, education, education. If members wish to quote procedural rules, at least know the right ones to use, and then we'll make progress. And then you should get what the doctor ordered. You have the right to expect an orderly meeting, and I will chair meetings in a fair and partial way, hearing opinion from all sides of the chamber. My only intolerance will be for disruptive behaviour from members or spectators. I reserve the right to be tough on chaos, tough on the causes of chaos. Hopefully that need will never arise. I will be supportive of all members who treat colleagues with courtesy and respect, because this will help us to make swift progress through the business and to take properly considered decisions. Freedom of speech and respectful public debate and disagreement are the cornerstones of modern Western civilization and democracy, as is our resistance to those who oppose such freedoms. Our history and precedent indicate that freedom and liberty are only acquired and retained through constant effort and vigilance by us. Russia's political leaders, for example, react with coercion and violence to opinions or actions that do not accord with theirs. They seek to stifle public debate, labelling any dissenting views as unpatriotic or offensive. We should always be the opposite of that. To live in a true democracy, we must accept that some views we will hear will not accord with our own. We might hear opinion that makes us uncomfortable, angry, maybe even offended, but it is our ability to tolerate those opinions and debate them respectfully that protects and upholds our democracy and freedom. In the past, I have been in the unfortunate position of having my life threatened for expressing a view. John Ogle, you must die, was the sentiment from someone who clearly had no respect for democracy or free speech. I suppose technically it was a statement of fact that we all must die eventually, but it implied the prospect of immediate mortality, and nobody should have to tolerate that intolerance in a free society. Yes, of course, freedom of speech must be exercised courteously and responsibly, but independent thought and lively debate promotes the flow of ideas, and from consideration of all of those ideas comes the best policy, promoting economic and technological innovation that can benefit everyone. This may test accepted orthodoxies, but it is the way that we make progress. And so, at this point, I would like to introduce you to my chaplain for the year, Bryony Wood, who is on the balcony. Hopefully, Bryony will stay for the year. Every captain loves his own ship and command. Thank you for mine. I look forward to chairing our council meetings throughout the coming year and hearing all members' opinions and ideas. And after today's meeting, I dare say some members will join me in retreating to the ultimate sanctuary of free speech and debate, the British pub. I'm grateful again, members, for the confidence you have placed in me, and I hope you will join me in raising a glass of water for now to another year of demonstrating and celebrating local democracy in action. Thank you and cheers. I now ask that Councillor Bruce Lawton move that Councillor Roger Jackson be thanked for his work as chairman of the council during the last year and be presented with a past chairman's badge of office. Councillor Bruce Lawton.
Thank you, John. I have to say, that was one of the best chairman speeches I've listened to in the last 25 years. Well prepared and really interesting and funny as well, which is well done to you. Well done to you, and congratulations on your elevation, Ogle, into the position of chairman. I have to say that Roger will be a hard act to follow. He's done an excellent job on behalf of the residents of Nottinghamshire and also ourselves. And I've known Roger for many years. I knew he'd do a good job. I played rugby with him, and when people are put on under pressure on a rugby field, you learn exactly how they will behave. He was actually a pretty good fullback. I've also had one or two nights in the Rodney with him as well, having a few beers, and so I know him of old, and he has done an outstanding job on our behalf, and will be an extremely hard act to follow. I think Roger's sort of term of office has been exemplified, been shown to be has been organised through the work that he has done for the Ukrainian families in Nottinghamshire, and I think £27,000 is one impressive amount of money to raise for a charitable organisation. And I think it is incumbent on us all to remember that whilst it may not be on the headlines of the news, people are losing their lives and are being seriously injured in Ukraine as we sit here. And I think it's important that we keep this this organisation and this country and this conflict to the forefront of our minds at all times to ensure we do not forget what is happening in that country. And I think one of the things Roger has done is highlight that fact. And I think we should all remember that as we go about our daily lives. He has chaired the meeting extremely well, which is always a good sign. And some of the work that he's done on re-engaging with the county show. And I encourage you all to go to the county show, because for the first time for many years, Nottinghamshire County Council will have a presence at that show, and we intend to improve that and build on that work that has been done during his time of tenure. We'll miss you, Roger, as a natty dresser. You know, always sort of done up to the nines, and I'm sure some of that is the influence of Jilly. And that follows on from what I'm going to say. We got Roger, but we got one better. We got Jilly, and I think she sat behind me. For those people that don't know her well, Jilly is an absolute star, and I would like to thank her personally for being with us over the last year. You won't lose her, I can assure you, because she stays around and she is an absolute stalwart. And for many of you don't realise, Roger had a very serious illness just before he took over as chairman of this authority, and it is to the good health. His good health is a lot down to the hard work and dedication of Jilly in the background. So thank you for your year, Jilly, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. So it's really a thank you, and he's an absolute star, and John, listen to me again. He will be a hard act to follow, but I'm sure he'll do a good job. And wish you all the best in your year as chairman of Nottinghamshire County Council. Thank you.
So, is there a seconder for the motion? Yes, Councillor Sue Saddington.
Thank you, Chairman. First of all, my congratulations to you, and to wish you and Sally all the best for the forthcoming year, and hope that you have a very happy and successful year. Well, I have great pleasure in seconding thanks to Roger and also to Julie. I have known Roger for a considerable length of time, and prior to that, I knew his father quite well. So I feel I've had some connection to their family for a while. Oh, that's all. Yes, that's all. And you certainly have had the most successful year, Roger, raising £27,000 for our Ukrainian friends is really something that needs highlighting. You've done exceedingly well, and Jilly with helping you. And I have to say, you already have alluded to it, but the year first of all, we celebrated the late Queen's Platinum Jubilee, which was really quite a celebration right throughout the county. And then, whilst many of us were at the Tour of Britain on September the 8th, the news came in that she had sadly passed away. Then we had the proclamation of King Charles III, and finally the coronation last weekend, and the service which I also attended with Roger at Southwell Minster. This is quite unique to have a jubilee, a royal death, a proclamation and a coronation within 12 months. Who on earth could have ever imagined that 12 months ago? So, to sum up, thank you, Roger. Thank you, Gilly, for your support to Roger on what has been, I think, a very special civic year. And where we go from here, I don't think there'll be many more celebrations like we've had in the last year, but certainly it's brought people together in our communities, having all these parties. And I know Roger has attended the events. So thank you, Roger, and good luck to you, Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Saddington. I now firstly, I call upon Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations on your new role as Chairman of the Council. From your first speech, I have to say heartfelt agreement with everything that you've said. I hope we can help you around the chamber in your combating the chaos, and we'll see how we get on. But I know that you will, as I said, bring your experience to the role. I'm glad we managed to persuade you. So good luck for your year. Roger, I'm going to be brief but heartfelt. You and I have known each other for a decade now. Actually, it's become a long way since I used to drop Mark Spencer's leaflets off around your farm, try and find which one of the many doors you were hiding in, both of you, at those times. But you have been, in my, I think, 7 Chairman of the Council now. It's not a competition, but one of the best in my eyes, both in the way that you have managed the meetings, controlled us, which is not easy, but also brought humour to it in the right way and an appropriate way. And we've all enjoyed the way that you've handled those. And also in your amazing civic role, I can't remember a busier year in the way that Sue has described in terms of just the royal events, never mind everything else that has gone on. But your engagement in all of that, along with Gilly Biota, who's been a fabulous First Lady of Nottinghamshire as well, I have to say, has been absolutely fantastic. And we couldn't have asked for a better representative in all of that. I think you did a fantastic job in terms of raising that funding for your chosen charity, hugely important cause as you've described. And I think Bruce is right that we need to continue to promote and support our Ukrainian friends in the county over the year ahead, which is not necessarily getting any easier in that international situation. And I'm sure that money will be put to good use as well. So you really have had a fantastic and positive impact on the county and on the people of the county over the course of the year. We've still got events to come, of course, in the county show that I know you are bringing forward and responsible for next week. So I hope colleagues will continue to support you by attending. No, a few days away, Saturday. And I hope we can all come and support you and attend that event as well. But just in closing, Roger, you have truly done a fantastic job. I think we all recognise what you brought to this council. I'm sure we'll all miss that over the course of the coming year. And John, as you say, big shoes to fill in that sense. I know you'll do a fantastic job as well. But thank you, Roger, for everything that you've done over this year.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. I now call upon Councillor Fole.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, and congratulations for your new role and all the very best and good luck with the chaos, should it arise. I just would like to say thank you on behalf of the Labour Group to Roger. You've represented this county and chaired these meetings with grace and good humour, and we really want to thank you for that, because I know it really can't be an easy job, and I think you've done it well, so thank you for that. But especially thank you for your work raising money for the Ukraine Centre. I visited it myself. It's a very special place, isn't it? To raise that amount of money is just fantastic, so well done. I don't think many of us will actually forget that day in February when we saw the tanks on the move, when we were sitting at this meeting. It's a salutary day, wasn't it, really? And I think it's something that kind of will stay with us forever. So thank you for your work, and thank you for your work with the Ukrainian Centre, and all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fole. I now call upon Councillor Neil Clark.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Chairman, and if I can add to the congratulations to you on becoming Chairman, I'm sure you will follow in the traditions of all your predecessors and have an excellent year as Ambassador for Nottinghamshire. But obviously, I do arise principally to offer hearty congratulations and thanks to Councillor Roger Jackson for a really successful year as chairman. As has been said, he's done a superb job of which he can be immensely proud. Many people have talked about what he's been doing inside this chamber. Perhaps I talk more about what happens outside of this chamber, because maybe I'm one of the people who's perhaps seen him operating more than a lot of other people in this chamber. In my other role as consort to the Mayor of Rushcliffe, Tina Combalak, I've had the great pleasure in attending many events around the county with Roger and with Gilly, and I've seen him at work firsthand in doing that first class job, because that ambassadorial role promoting Nottinghamshire outside of this chamber is immensely important, and he's done a really first class job. And with Roger and Gilly as that team working together, been absolutely superb, attending all those events and also raising that phenomenal amount of money for the Ukrainian Centre. And I've seen that happen as well, and indeed the Mayor of Rushcliffe made comment about how happy she was to have attended that Freedom for Ukraine. Some of the events, I mean, for instance, I think talk has been made of the showground and the fantastic gala lunch that Roger and Gilly organised at the showground with hundreds of people present there. Was such a fantastic day, and I'm sure everybody enjoyed eating Roger's beef. And the whole event was just superb. So mention has been made of Gilly, and what an amazing lady, an amazing partner, an amazing consort and support Gilly has been to Roger in working together and supporting Roger and helping raise all that money and all these events. Have just been superb. So they've done an outstanding job and all good wishes to them for the future, and hearty congratulations to Roger for a superb job well done. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. I now call upon Councillor Pringle.
Thank you, Chairman. And obviously, congratulations on your uplifted chairman. Good luck, and I'm sure there'll be no chaos at all. Yeah, well, because he smiled at me, so you know. Mine's a personal thanks to Roger, who's going to be a friend. We have differences, obviously we do, but this man is a professional man and has held himself professional throughout this year. And personally, somebody will be aware I was really close friends and family in the Ukraine. Your work to support the centre at £27,000 is incredible, because we're talking about women and children that have left their husbands and fathers to get away from the disgrace of war in this century. So I really applaud what you've done there. It does touch. However, Roger is a little bit coy with the truth, because before we'd actually spoken, he was sat across from me in the very early days, so a long time ago, and I pointed to his suit, his tweed suit, and I said, Roger, that is smart, mate. So I went, thanks for that. I found out today that it's Gilly that dresses it. So, look, well done, mate. Yeah, quick, yeah, literally, yeah, get that. But well done. Good luck, Chairman, for the future, but really well done, mate.
Thank you, Councillor Pringle. I now call upon Councillor Girling.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations on your upcoming year with Sally. I'm sure it'll be
equally as good for next year. We're always saying good things about you two as well. Well done, Gilly, and Roger for your year. It has been outstanding, and I'm really grateful because supporting the Ukraine is not just about wearing a ribbon with the Ukraine colours on or a badge. It's about doing things about it. And for somebody that's got a Ukraine family living with him, as a result of Putin's illegal occupation of the Ukraine, I've seen firsthand how upset they become because they see the news because they've got it on their tablets and they're watching it all the time. Whereas, alas, the press in this country have forgotten about it effectively, and I think that's such a shame. It should be at the front of everything that's doing. It's got a big impact on not just the Ukraine but the world actually, and Putin needs to get a bloody nose really. So that £27,000 is going to be well used, and I know that my Ukraine family will be really grateful for all the hard work that's done. I mean, I've gone from living in a 4-bedroom house on my own to now living with 3 women, so my life's changed incredibly by that. But they're no bother. They just get on. And one of the things that's made it for me is the moment they arrived in this country, they wanted to learn English and they wanted to get a job. Yeah, they don't want to be sucking off the country. They want to be getting there and contributing to society, and that's a credit to that country as well, because they've not come here for handouts. They've come here to work, and the work you've done, Roger, to help support that is phenomenal. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart there, and that's it really. So well done, Roger. You've had a cracking year.
Thank you, Councillor Girling. I now call upon Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations, and thank you, Roger. This is no offence to anybody in this room that's previously been a chairman, but I think you're probably one of the best chairmen I've seen since I was elected in 2005. Things do get very heated sometimes in this chamber, and I think you're the only chairman I've seen who keeps their cool when everybody around them is actually going mad and shouting at each other. So thank you for that. I echo what's been said about the raising the money for the families from the Ukraine, and it's not just the thing is, Councillor Girling, you said Putin deserves a bloody nose. It's not Putin; it's getting the bloody nose. It's conscripts. It's people that don't want to be fighting. It's civilians, and we should be doing everything to help people from the Ukraine, and indeed we should be doing everything to help people who are refugees from anywhere who come here for safety. And so I raise my hat to you, sir. You've done an excellent job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. There don't appear to be any more speakers, and so as there are no more speakers, I will put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Appears to be unanimous. Thank you. I declare the motion as carried. I now invite Councillor Roger Jackson, to receive his badge. Would you like to come up, Roger?
Thank you, everybody, for all your kind words. Much appreciated.
Right, appointment of Vice Chairman. So we're looking for nominations, and we've got one. So I ask Councillor John Cotty to move the appointment of Councillor Richard Butler as Vice Chairman of the County Council for this ensuing year. Councillor Cotty.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations on your appointment. And I wish you and Sally an exciting and enjoyable year. And I look forward to meeting you at some of your events. I'd also like to say to Roger, thank you, Roger, for your part in the year which people have been talking about. And I enjoyed meeting up with you at some of the events, and I will see you on Saturday morning with you and your wife. So all the best for that. Yes, I would like to propose my colleague and good friend Richard Butler to be elected as Vice Chairman for this council during this civic year. Richard and I, along with a couple of others that are still in this chamber on the Conservative side, joined in 2001. We've been good friends for a long time and worked well together in many. Where is he hiding? Oh, you're there. Over many things that have happened in politics over many years, and I've always enjoyed working with him, and I've always enjoyed giving him a call when the computer crashes as well, because I'm flipping useless at that stuff. Yeah. So, but he has been a really good friend to me in the past, and I've always enjoyed being with him. I think he has all the skills to bring as vice chairman, and I would be happy to propose his election to the vice chairmanship of Nottinghamshire County Council. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Cotty. We do have a seconder for this motion, so I call upon Councillor Barney. Councillor Barney.
Thank you, Chairman. And I too would like to express my sincere thanks to you for your brilliant chairmanship over the last year, and also congratulate you, John, on your succession to the chairmanship of our great council. But I rise to second the nomination of my good friend Richard Butler to the role of vice chairman. I haven't known him as long as you, John. I've only known him for 5 years, not as long as 2001. But I can honestly say that in those 5 years, and having got to know you very well in our roles in Rushcliffe, that I have met few people in my life that have the moral standing that you have, Richard. You are a good man to the core. I've never heard you speak ill of anyone. Every meeting that I ever am a party to here at Rushcliffe or in this chamber, you chair with such professionalism, with such ease. But more than all of that, it's your kindness and your decency which shines through. And so I'm delighted to put you forward for this nomination. But more than that, if his moral standing wasn't enough to qualify him for this role, I know and have expressed great delight in seeing Richard's enthusiasm for his role as secretary of the world-renowned DAF Car Club. And for those of you that missed it, they were the future of car technology once in the 1970s. And as far as Richard's concerned, still is. And I believe that you also edit their quarterly magazine. Is it quarterly? Belting Along. So with that, I hope that you'll keep Councillor John Ogle on track, belting along, and indeed this great council. And I'm delighted to second the nomination for you to take up the role of Vice Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Barney. There don't appear to be any other nominations, so I intend to put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? It's unanimous. Thank you. That's carried. I declare that Councillor Richard Butler has been duly appointed as Vice Chairman of the County Council. Please come to the dais, Richard, to take your declaration of acceptance of office.
Thank you. I, Richard Langton Butler, having been appointed to the office of Vice Chairman, Nottinghamshire County Council, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. congratulate you on your appointment, and I really do look forward to working with you this year. I think, and I know we should be a good team and certainly an interesting team. And also, may I thank my good friends, John and Matt, for their kind comments. Matt, I wasn't expecting you to tell the world to tell everyone about it. If anyone is feeling particularly interested, I could go on for hours, but I won't. But no, thank you very much, and also thank you to colleagues across the whole chamber as well. We are in a very special place here, and we all do our jobs as we see fit. And at the end of the day, we're here to do those jobs as well. So really, there's probably not a lot more for me to say at this stage, but thank you very much, and we look forward to the year ahead. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Thank you, Richard. So we move on to item 3 on the agenda. To ask the council to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Is it your wish that we accept these minutes as a true and correct record? We'll say yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay. Item 4, apologies for absence. I now ask if there are any apologies for absence. Reasons for apologies should be provided, and I call upon Councillor Barnfather.
Thank you, Chairman. It's good to know that 35 years of training and eliciting the right response wasn't wasted in getting you to agree to be Chairman. It took 4 hours and several phone calls before I could persuade Councillor Butler to be quite so forthcoming, but we got the result in the end. No apologies, Chairman, but I congratulate you both on your appointments and look forward to a fantastic year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Barnfather. I now call upon Councillor Henry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations on your appointment, and also to your Vice Chair. And for Roger, thank you very much for your year. It's been fantastic, and Gilly, oh, she's gone, but Gilly as well for supporting you all the way through this year. There's one apologies from the Labour Group, which is Councillor Maggie McGrath. He's absent for other reasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Henry. I now call upon Councillor Deakin. Will Councillor Carr's doing it?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, apologies received from Councillor Smith for medical reasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. We move swiftly on to item 5, declarations of interest. If any councillor or officer has either a disclosable pecuniary interest or a private interest in any matter on the agenda, you should declare it now. Please raise your hand now if you have an interest to declare. When called to speak, you should state whether it is a disclosable pecuniary interest or private interest and give brief details.
Members, through the chairman, if I can just offer you all some advice that we've received from the monitoring officer, which is that there is no need for members or officers present to declare an interest in respect of items 11 and 12 on the agenda today, just to get ahead of ourselves, which is in respect of the code of conduct for members and employees.
We have the results of the Kirby South by-election and recognition of members and officers of groups. I call upon Councillor Chris Barnfather to introduce the agenda report and move the recommendations in the report.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I formally move the recommendations contained within the addendum as agenda item 6 that we received recently. Obviously, the result of the by-election was that Councillor Rachel Madden was duly elected, and I welcome you back personally to the chamber, Rachel. I've enjoyed working with you before,
and I look forward to working with you in the future. The recommendations are self-explanatory. Chairman, there is no change to the proportionality of the political groupings within the chamber, and the officers of those groups are contained within the addendum papers. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Barnfather. I call upon Councillor Bruce Lawton to second this motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And Richard, congratulations on your elevation as Vice Chairman. I would like to second the motion.
Are there any speakers? Councillor Hollis.
Thank you, Chairman. And firstly, many congratulations to yourself to be the Chairman. It's really great to see a rural member take the chair again. And certainly from my side of things, I'm looking forward to seeing you in office, and I really hope you can make it down to Huthwaite and Carsick over the next year as well. You'll be much welcomed, and same to you, Councillor Butler. Congratulations. But I just really wanted to speak to congratulate Councillor Madden. She was one of the main reasons I became a councillor, and I fully understand why she didn't choose to seek re-election in the main elections. With the hard work that she was putting into Ashfield with regards to delivering a new swimming pool, which was promised since 1935, and delivering new country parks and play areas, all the stuff that she's been championing as the portfolio holder at Ashfield. I think anybody that's driven through Kirkby recently will have noticed that the leisure centre is now built. If you've had a chance or the unfortunate chance to be there, well, I've been there, you'll have seen me in my Speedos. But that is all thanks to that particular pleasure is all thanks to Rachel, really. And without her, even up until the 11th hour, everybody believed that place would not happen. And it only happened really because of Rachel's tenacity, securing £4 million worth of funding and everything that went with it. And I think she wouldn't mind me saying that she is an extremely restless soul, and now she's done everything she wanted to do there. She's said, well, let's come back and finish the job here. I think she mentioned something about potholes not being very good. So I think that's her mission here now. But I really want to say congratulations, Rachel. I mean, there's no getting around the fact that you booked a national trend. You won by nearly 700 votes, which is one of the bigger majorities in this place. And I think it's fully deserved, really. And just congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Hollis. I call upon Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Chairman. And congratulations to Rachel on behalf of the Labour Group, and all the very best. And congratulations to you too, Richard. I hope you have a really good year as Vice Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Fowler. If there are no other speakers, I now ask Councillor Lawton if he wishes to speak. No, he doesn't. Councillor Barnfather, do you wish to add to it?
Yeah, nothing to add, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this needs to be put to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that is carried, and I congratulate you myself, Councillor Neal. Thank you. We now move on to item 7, Chairman's business. There are no presentations or awards today, but former county councillors Dick Wilson and Susan Bennett, who we've had some silence for, we have received the sad news of the deaths of former county councillors Dick Wilson and Susan Bennett. Mr Wilson represented Nottingham number 5, Byron and St Albans division from 1973 to 1977. He was leader of the council, chairman of the policy committee, and a member of the social services, information and public protection committees. Mrs Bennett represented Ruddington division from 1985 to 2005. She was chief whip of the Liberal Democrat group from 1993 to 97 and leader of the group from 1997 to 2003. She was a member of the Education and Social Services Committee during her time in office. I now invite members to say a few words about former county councillors Mr Wilson and Mrs Bennett. Are there any people who wish to speak? Yeah. Councillor Lawton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, Dick Wilson was a Labour councillor. I've been given the job on behalf of our group to say a few words on his behalf. I know both John and Terry may well know him far better than what I did. I never met him, but I'm the longest standing member, along with John and Richard, as far as our group is concerned. I think it's important that we pay tribute to all past members. We all recognise that as councillors we make sacrifices to be able to serve the public of Nottinghamshire. So I applaud anybody who sticks his neck in a noose when it comes to local elections, and nobody's had his stretch more than mine in the last few days. So and we all know the work and commitment that is required as a councillor. So I pay tribute to Dick. And wish his family all the best. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Norton. I now call upon Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sue Bennett was a larger than life character. Anybody that knew her, and you'd have to be in here for a long time to have known her, will know that what she didn't know about social services, well, she knew virtually everything about them. She was a county councillor for 10 years, and she was one that must have dreaded election time, because every time she got in, it was a wafer thin majority, and I'm talking 5 and 3 majorities. But she was excellent. I was elected in 2005, which is the year that Sue left this authority, and she mentored me for 6 months as a new councillor and taught me a lot about this authority and how it works and the people concerned. I offer condolences to her friends and family, and it's a sad day when colleagues lose their lives, and but she will be remembered fondly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. I now call upon Councillor Adair.
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations to your appointment and your appointment, friend Richard there. We're talking about condolences to the family of Sue Bennett. When she lost, I was the councillor that lost by 3 votes to Sue in the first instance, and then I know the predecessor of mine, she won by 5 votes over that. But I always remember the evening. She said to me, "Reg, I'm in tears. You nearly got me seat." And then, obviously, 4 years later, I did get the seat from Sue, and I wish her well. She was on the Borough Council with us as well, and I would often give her a lift home because she lived in Ruddington and Packman Drive. And then she said, "I'm going to leave Ruddington. I'm going to Skegness, to retire in Skegness." And unfortunately, that's the last I saw of Sue, which was probably 2008, 2009. So it was fun memories. She was a Liberal Democrat and I was Conservative, and we had a good working relationship, even though we had different views about politics. And I just condolences to the rest of her family, and I know she had her heart on her sleeve as far as serving the community was concerned. Okay, thanks, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Adair. I now call upon Councillor Fowle.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I mean, as Richard said, anybody who puts a head above the parapet needs to be recognised. So, Labour Group would just like to recognise their both very substantial service, clearly, and send condolences to their families. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fowle. So we move on, and we will break for lunch at approximately 12:30 as usual. Number 8, constituency issues. This item gives members who have previously given notice by the deadline the opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes on any particular matter relevant to their constituencies or any particular issues arising in their electoral division which is relevant to the services provided by the County Council. This is an opportunity simply to air these issues in the council meeting. It will not give rise to a debate on the issues or a question and answer session. Members are reminded that there is a maximum time limit of 15 minutes for this item on the agenda, and each member may only speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. I have been notified of one request to speak by the deadline, and that's from Councillor Paul Henshaw regarding Ladybrook Enterprises Community Centre in Mansfield West.
Thank you, Chair, for bringing me in, and congratulations to you for the ensuing year and to your Vice Chair. I hope he supports you. He's a good advocate for planning, but I hope he's going to be able to plan some of the things you do and help you and support you. But all the best to you both. Now, can I start my time, because it's been a long time coming to get this. Oh, you've not that, Chief Executive. Chair, it gives me great pleasure to inform Council of a fantastic organisation in my division of Mansfield West, Ladybrook Enterprises Limited, and the Help at Hand Mansfield project, which is a small local charity with a huge reach across Mansfield and district. It has been at the heart of the Ladybrook and wider Mansfield communities for many years. As a community-based organisation, they empower people to improve their lives. They pay a great emphasis on a person's mental and physical health. They help people develop and help them develop skills and knowledge so they can live a more fulfilled life. Health and well-being and supporting people are the core values of the group. They also support people with education and skills training, which they provide with a number of local providers. Ladybrook Enterprises is much valued and well-respected, a much well-respected community organisation, and has served the local community for many years. And this was acknowledged when they were presented with the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service a few years ago. The centre is a bustling hive of friendly activities. In fact, over the year, over 2,000 participants have attended their activities. Ladybrook Enterprises have not been deaf to the real and anxious crisis people are facing today in their community. They share a scheme which has offered support, including free food, clothing and toiletries. Group through my divisional fund. To Sharon and her team, thank you for the work and commitment. You can be assured of my continued support in the future. And also I'd like to take an opportunity to thank Councillor Cotty and Councillor Anderson, who with their support, we ended up with putting a new perimeter fence around the centre, which has proved to be a fantastic innovation. I will conclude by letting the people who use the centre have the last word. The centre is the best thing that has happened to me. It literally saved my life. I was grieving so much for my son. Out of the blue came an advert for depression and anxiety, which was a course at the centre. The staff, the people you meet there, it's like having a new lease of life. And thank you to you all. The Help at Hand project supported me through my darkest weeks this year. Without their help, I dread to think where I would be. Their kindness, compassion and professional skill helped me to recover from my depression. I can't thank them enough for their support and making me feel part of the community and improve my quality of life. Thank you, Chair.
Perfect timing, Councillor Henshaw. Thank you. We move on now to item 9A, presentation of petitions. I was notified of 2 petitions by the deadline. May I remind members that there is a 1-minute time limit for the presentation of each petition, and there is a maximum time limit of 15 minutes for this item. Councillor Bethan Eddy, who has a petition requesting the closure of Mansfield Road Service Road onto Vale Avenue. Councillor Eddy.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations on your appointment. I'd like to present this petition with 53 signatures for the proposal to block the Mansfield Road Service Road at the junction of Vale Avenue and Warsop. This will prevent it being used as a shortcut following traffic lights that will be installed at the top of Vale Avenue due to the new housing development.
Councillor Kate Fowle has a petition requesting a resident-only parking scheme at the City in Beeston. Councillor Fowle.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. The city is the name of a road in Beeston, rather confusingly, just so as you know. But this is a petition, and I'll read what the residents put. Parking at the city all day by non-residents who are working in Beeston and also commuting to QMC and to Nottingham by tram. One of the unintended consequences of having a tram running through your division is that people tend to try to find free parking and then hop on the tram and sometimes disappear for a while. And this is what's happening in the city in Beeston. And almost every resident in that road has actually signed this petition. So I hope it will be looked on kindly. Thank you.
Council to resolve that the petition has been referred to the appropriate cabinet members for consideration. A report will be brought back to the council in due course in accordance with standing orders. Is that agreed? All in favour? Good. Item 9B, responses to petitions presented to the chairman of the county council. I move that the contents of the report and the actions approved be noted. Is that agreed? Can we take a show of hands again? All those in favour? That's unanimous, I think. Thank you. Item 10, establishment of committees. I call upon Councillor Chris Barnfather, who will move the recommendations in the report. Councillor.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Under the Council's constitution, the annual meeting of the full council is required to establish such committees as the council sees fit and confirm their terms of reference and size. And the chairman and vice chairman of each committee shall be appointed. There are no proposed changes within the paper before us today to this structure or terms of reference. In relation to the cabinet, similarly, there are no proposed changes to cabinet arrangements or cabinet appointees, Chairman. In relation to the overview and select committees, there is a change in respect of the chair of the Adult Social Care and Public Health Select Committee, in that Councillor Roger Jackson now has completed his term of office as chairman of this authority, will assume the role of chairman of that particular body. Councillor Mike Quigley will assume the role as the chair of the Planning and Rights of Way Committee due to the elevation of Councillor Butler as vice chairman of this authority. In relation to proportionality, no changes, Chairman. There is, although not specifically referenced in this paper, a slight change, and I mention it for the benefit of the chairman of the Fire Authority, in that Councillor Quigley will be relinquishing his place on that authority, and Councillor Butler will be taking that place as the nomination from this administration. The recommendations are numerous and lengthy, Chairman. I don't intend to read them all out. They can all be found on page 47 of the bundle, and I formally move them. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Barnfather. I now call upon Councillor Bruce Lawton, who will second the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I formally second the motion.
Thank you. So I now call on members who have indicated there are none at the moment. So we're going to put it to the vote. All those in favour? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. It's carried. We now move on to item 11. A new code of conduct for councillors and co-opted members. I call upon Councillor Philip Owen to move the recommendations in the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and can I begin by congratulating you on your appointment this morning, and also congratulate the Vice Chairman, Councillor Butler, on his appointment. It seems to me, Councillor Butler, to be a hell of a way to avoid sitting through Planning and Rights of Way committee meetings to get elevated to the Vice Chairmanship of this County Council, but that's your choice. That's your choice. This is the first of two reports that I'm presenting this morning, Chairman, and I hope this report is going to assist you in your campaign against chaos, because, of course, it's the Members' Code of Conduct which is being brought before this council this morning. I want to extend my thanks not just to the working group that's been set up in the course of this administration to look at the code of conduct, but also the working group that really did the heavy lifting during the previous administration. A working group was set up to look at updating, revising the members' code of conduct. They did an awful lot of the work, and that was then continued by and finished off by a new working group in this administration. I also want to place on record my thanks to the independent persons who sit on the Governance and Ethics Committee because they had significant input. They will be the ones that have to implement it in part. And so it was important that we got their feedback, which we did, and we incorporated their suggestions into the final version, which was presented to the Governance and Ethics Committee. And in particular, they were responsible for the suggestion, which you see on page 73 of the bundle, the flowchart of actions that can be taken. They thought that would be a simplified way of expressing the whole process. And so I'm immensely grateful to them for the work that they did. And the report was finally submitted to Governance and Ethics Committee, where it received unanimous support. So I'm more than happy, Chairman, to move the recommendations set out on page 55 in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. I now call upon Councillor Lee, who will second the motion.
Chairman, I second the motion and reserve my right to speak.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. I now call upon members who have indicated to speak, and we've got Councillor Payne.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. May I congratulate you on your well-deserved elevation to the role of Chairman of the County Council, and congratulate Councillor Butler too. And may I echo what was said earlier about Councillor Jackson. I think you've been an absolutely outstanding Chairman of this County Council and a first-class ambassador, and the work you have done will not just be felt by the Ukrainian community here in Nottinghamshire. I think it will be felt more broadly across the country, and for those people who are suffering at the hands of the illegal invasion of Putin in Ukraine. You've been absolutely first-class, Roger. As you always have been in the time I've known you in my dealings with you. I just want to write to say thank you to Councillor Owen for the way that he's chaired Governance and Ethics Committee, for the way he's stewarded this piece of work through his committee, and a particular thanks to the working group and to the independent persons. Myself and Councillor Henry obviously sit on the committee, and I rise to say, Mr. Chairman, the Labour Group will be supporting the recommendations as laid out on page 55.
Thank you very much. Councillor Lee has reserved his right to speak. Do you wish to speak now, Councillor Lee?
I don't, Chairman. Thank you very much.
Okay. You, Councillor Owen? No.
Just to thank Councillor Payne for his comments.
So we now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. That's carried. Revised Officer Code of Conduct and Procedure for Officers Reporting of Interests, Gifts and Hospitality. I again call upon Councillor Philip Owen to move the recommendations in the report. Councillor Owen.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Chairman. I'm happy to move the recommendations, but once again, I'd just like to place on record my thanks to the working group that was set up to go through these. A lot of work is done in the background, and we met quite frequently to try and sort all this out. The working group is an ongoing body. We've got other things to be looking at, but this now has come before council this morning. Again, it was a report that was approved unanimously by the Governance and Ethics Committee, so I commend it to council.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. I call upon Councillor Lee to second the motion.
Chairman, I second and reserve my right to speak.
There are no members who have indicated that they wish to speak, so in favour? That appears to be unanimous. Thank you very much. That's carried. Item 13, Executive Report, Key Issues and Activities. As set out in the Constitution, the Leader has provided an executive report. The Leader will move the receipt of the report for noting and may make a short statement introducing it. The report will be seconded by the Deputy Leader, who will do so without speaking to it. No other members may speak on this item and no amendment can be tabled. I call upon Councillor Bradley MP, who will move that the report be noted.
Thank you, Chairman. Delighted with your early start on being quick and efficient in all of this. We're flying through this morning, which is fantastic. And if I am brief, we might even get through questions before lunch, so I'll aim to be so. Most of the detail members will see is laid out in the report in front of them. So a quick fly through some of those things. You'll see that we've been working behind the scenes on our review of place-based community services, including meeting with people in the kind of leisure industry, trying to look at what more we can deliver from our community hubs and bases, our libraries, our community centres and others, and that work is ongoing behind the scenes. We're starting to pin down some first places for us to go and have a look at, some targets where we might be able to make most benefit with those kinds of changes and reforms to how we deliver things, and we will come back to the council in due course with some decisions on that. You'll note that the East Midlands Freeport has finally been approved. It's been a long time coming, but those tax benefits will now be available to businesses on those sites, which is a big step forward for us within the region and a step in that wider regional economic kind of programme of our development company, Combined Authority and other programmes that we're working on. So positive steps in one of those key regional priorities that we laid out at the start of this administration, those things that we wanted to deliver. Similarly, I've been to Mansfield District Council and we've also had conversations with Bassetlaw about the levelling up partnerships that were recently passed to us by government for those parts of the world. Opportunities for us to tackle some really significant and long-term problems there, I think, and I'm hoping the early conversations with those councils have led us to digging into some of the data, some of the realities on the ground of, what are the challenges we want to face and to do something really meaningful with that money. It's not like having to bid into a project where we've got to tick government boxes. There's a lot more flexibility in these partnerships for us to decide. I'm very keen for us to do that. We've made significant progress on plans again behind the scenes on the A614 and we're getting to final stages of planning for that now as well. Devolution obviously continues to be a big part of what I spend my time on, not least because we are fitting a lot of work into a short period of time in terms of trying to stand up this combined authority. And over the coming months, we hope to we hope that it will become a reality. It will become an organisation independent of this council, and we'll be able to move in decision-making terms from 4 leaders across 4 councils having to compromise on everything into an independent body that can really act and speak for the region. You might have seen in recent days that I raised this with the Prime Minister yesterday in Prime Minister's questions, and there's coverage of that, along with a letter that Conservative MPs from around the region have written to Number 10 this week, asking for him to ensure that the Levelling Up Bill is passed in time for us to meet that deadline and have our election next year. That's hugely important, as we'll know, for the investment that it brings to the region. A number of other items in the list here that members can read through, but I just wanted to highlight the events that are coming up. We're moving into the summer period now. The County Show, obviously, this weekend. We've also got Notts Day at the end of August and the Tour of Britain into early September, a fantastic showcase of our county, and work continues to go on behind the scenes in delivering those. I hope members will support and attend those in due course. In terms of decisions, again, you can see laid out in the report, but we have approved at the last Cabinet meeting our annual delivery plan, and we work with colleagues from around the county on setting some of those priorities. I'm really keen, just as I've kind of called on government this week, I'm really keen that this council moves into a kind of delivery phase over the course of this year and next, ahead of our elections. But we've set a lot of groundwork. We put a lot of things in place. We put a lot of systems and structures in place. We made a lot of cultural changes around here, not least the cabinet system and the way that we do things. I want to see us now getting into bricks and mortar and visible outcomes for our residents as far as we possibly can, just as I've said, I've called on government this week to do the same. And finally, members will recall that at the last Cabinet meeting, we had the report from the Call-in around the Healthy Families programme, just to reassure members that we are having those conversations. We promise to take that away and look again at that decision, which we are doing over the coming weeks. We'll come back to Cabinet with further updates on that. But I'm pleased that worked well. Thank you to Councillor Elliott and Guildford for managing that process really successfully. And it's given us, I hope, those decisions and to come back to council fresh with something that I hope will be acceptable. So I think that's it from me, Mr. Chairman, and hopefully it gives us a chance to fly through the agenda further this morning.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. I now call upon Councillor Lawton to second the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I formally second the motion.
So this, thank you. This is a 2-note report, and it has been received from the chamber. Thank you. Item 14A, questions to Nottinghamshire and City of Nottingham Fire. Item 14B, questions to committee chairman. As set out in the Constitution, a maximum of 60 minutes is allowed for questions to committee chairman, after which any remaining questions will receive a written response. I would like to remind members that there will be only one supplementary question, which must be from the member who asked the original question. The supplementary question should be on the same matter and should be in the form of a question, not a statement. There will be no adjournment debates. There are 5 questions as follows. Number 1, from Councillor Nigel Turner concerning the Local Communities Fund, and Councillor John Cotty will reply. So, Councillor Turner.
Given my background working with local community groups in Basslaw area over the past 20 years, could I ask the Cabinet member to explain how voluntary organisations and community groups across Nottinghamshire will be able to benefit from the new financial support soon to be made available through the Local Communities Fund?
Councillor Cotty to reply.
Thank you for your question, Councillor Turner, and also thank you for the good work you do up in your area, as I'm aware of the things that you do up there. So thank you for the question. And I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk about more than £750,000 of new funding that will be distributed to voluntary organisations and community groups across Nottinghamshire to help improve health and well-being for our residents. Through our fantastic Local Communities Fund, applications currently being invited for the cost of living grants, capital grants and revenue grants, with the application process open until Sunday the 4th of June. I know, Councillor Turner, that you've already encouraged and assisted bids from some groups in your division in Worksop South, and we are making available £150,000 in cost of living grants open for a second round, where eligible groups can apply for up to £5,000 to support residents most in need. And there are 2 types of grants. One to help people who are struggling to buy nutritious food to help improve health and well-being and build resilience. And another for those in need of contribution towards rising energy bills, for instance to help groups keep their welcoming and warm centres and halls open across the county. We've also earmarked £500,000 for capital grants to be distributed between April 23 to March 24, where groups can apply for up to £20,000 to make improvements to facilities that help improve health and well-being, as well as projects with an environmental focus. And these include improvements to sporting facilities, play areas and equipment, green horticultural improvements to open spaces, heritage improvements, signposts, information boards to improve the visitor experience. And Chairman, an annual pot of £100,000 on revenue grant funding has also been set aside, where eligible groups can apply for up to £5,000 to help their day-to-day running costs, such as paying wages and bills. Applications from a range of projects are welcomed, including summer play schemes, projects that tackle digital exclusion, good neighbourhood schemes, dementia-friendly communities and food and lunch clubs, encouraging local networks where people help themselves and each other to be resilient, neighbourly and safe, increasing volunteering opportunities, addressing climate and environmental change, improving access to existing community-based services, for example, advice and signposting for our most vulnerable residents. Eligible groups can apply for all 4 types of grants to help meet specific needs in line with the criteria, and each application will be clearly explain how the money will be used if successful. All applications for revenue and capital funding must provide a supporting statement from an elected Nottinghamshire County Councillor for the area in which the proposed project will be delivered. To help simplify the process, groups now have 2 opportunities during this year to apply for capital and revenue grants. Following this current window, the next application window is expected to open on the 2nd of October 2023. Details of the eligibility criteria and how to apply are published in the Local Communities Fund section on the County Council website. This demonstrates once again our commitment to helping our local communities at a time when we know the cost of living pressures are significant. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Cotty. Councillor Turner, have you a supplementary question?
No. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. We now move on to question 2 from Councillor Paul Henshaw concerning funding to develop the social care workforce. Councillor Barney to reply.
Thanks for bringing me in, Chair. Councillor Barney, as part of its plan to fix social care, in 2021 the Conservative government promised £500 million to fund training and qualifications to develop the social care workforce. On April the 3rd it was announced that only half of that money has been allocated and funding to digitise some of the social care services had been reduced. With existing challenges to the care sector, recruitment and retention in Nottinghamshire, will the Cabinet member challenge the government's decision and speak up for those working in care roles who aspire to undertake further training and obtain qualifications? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Henshaw. Councillor Barney.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Councillor Henshaw. You'd be delighted to know that this very simple answer to your question from me is absolutely yes. But I'm sure you'd probably appreciate me elaborating slightly, so if you're happy for me to indulge, I will do that. Last month, it's nearly lunch. Last month, the government announced that 250 million of extra funding is being provided to fund new care workforce pathways and hundreds of thousands of training places, including a new care certificate qualification, aiming to increase opportunities for career progression and development. 100 million is also being made available to accelerate digitisation, including investment in digital social care records, so staff have the latest information at their fingertips to meet the care need of recipients. This forms part of a total 2 billion allocation, which also includes a new innovation and improvement unit backed by 35 million to explore creative solutions for improving care, such as supporting local authorities to reduce care assessment waiting times and using best practice from areas where waiting times have already been cut by a third. A 1.4 billion market sustainability and improvement fund, which local authorities can use flexibly, including to increase the rates paid to social care providers to reduce waiting times. 102 million over 2 years, to help make small but significant adaptations people need to remain at home, stay independent and avoid hospital, including grab rails and ramps, small repairs and safety and security checks, and 50 million to improve social care insight, data and quality assurance, including person-level data collections and new care quality commission assessments of local authorities to improve poor performance on social care and identify where the further support is needed. Alongside these reform commitments, the Better Care Fund, designed to help older people and those with complex needs to live at home for longer, will increase from 7.7 billion in 2022 to 8.1 billion in 2023 and 8.7 billion in 2024. That fund includes 1.6 billion to improve hospital discharge arrangements, 600 million next year and 1 billion the following year. This is part of the government's wider commitment to support adult social care services backed by up to 7.5 billion over the next 2 years to help local authorities address waiting lists and workforce pressures announced in the Chancellor's autumn statement. We should acknowledge and welcome this significant investment. But fundamentally, I agree with you, Councillor Henshaw, that local authorities with social care responsibilities, such as Nottinghamshire, will still require more resources going forward, not least for the measures you described to support recruitment and retention. The Chancellor of the Exchequer, in his autumn statement last year, said that he had heard the very real concerns from local authorities about inflationary pressures and about the practical and financial challenges of introducing 8 pieces of social care reform. It is helpful that he decided to delay the implementation of these reforms for 2 years, effectively freeing up resources for councils to spend on our most immediate social care priorities. We welcome this room for manoeuvre, but it is fair to say that there are still significant questions to be answered at a national level about the long-term sustainable funding of social care. Through our various channels of communication with the Department of Health and Social Care, we continue making the case for the release of more funds to invest in new models of care, training and workforce resilience that will further improve the lived experience of people and their carers and develop community services closer to home. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Barney. Councillor Henshaw, have you a supplementary question?
Yes, Chair, thanks. Thank you, Councillor Barney, for that answer. But do you agree with me that, and I think you do, that obviously there is still a major problem within the social care profession? At the end of the day, we can stand here talking about billions and billions of pounds of investment, but in the reality, we still have care homes that are crying out for staff. People aren't offering themselves to work in the social care or the care sector because of the low wages and terrible conditions. So would you agree with me that there seems to be a culture of over-promising in relation to government, and they kick this problem down the road and they keep kicking it down the road, but eventually and inevitably it will come back to haunt us? And you know what, when you talk about underfunding, there's one of the problems in relation to this, and perhaps it's one of the reasons, over-promising from the Conservatives, why you lost over 1,000 seats last week in the local elections. But at the end of the day, I'm more bothered about not people losing the seats, but I'm more bothered about people that are offering themselves to work in the care profession and making sure that people who are in care get a decent service. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Henshaw. Councillor Barney.
Oh, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Councillor Henshaw. I spoke earlier about what a great role model Councillor Richard Butler is to me as a councillor in these last few years, but also Councillor Reggie Dare has been a significant mentor to me. And the one thing Councillor Adair always talks to me about for the residents. In this role, in my custodianship of this great portfolio, I'm not only here for our residents, but I'm here for our workforce and I'm here for our staff. And absolutely, I totally concur with you that we should speak up, not just me in this role, but all of us in this chamber, for the brilliant work that our incredible 6,000 staff members across Nottinghamshire do every day, supporting the people in the most basic and most fundamental point of need. We've spent a long time this morning congratulating and celebrating each other in this chamber, and that's happened. We could take that same time and opportunity to do that on a day-to-day basis for the 6,000 members of our staff across Nottinghamshire who are literally laying down their lives in supporting those people who are the most vulnerable in need. So absolutely, I will do everything I can collectively and I'm grateful, as I've said before, it's getting rather cliche, but that we do, we're able to punch above our weight in getting messages. Our DAS here, who has taken up the role of vice presidency within ADAS. So we'll continue to articulate through those channels in respect to the Conservatives' involvement in these matters. Of course, actually, the issues with resolving social care go back over decades, and I think it's a fundamental challenge that we absolutely still face. And going forward, we have not resolved how we plug this ever-expanding gap in the nation's resources and finances with an ever-reducing number of taxpayers coming in and paying the finances needed. These are massive questions. We are still grappling with them. I'm disappointed that we're not able to move forward more than we have done, but we must together, collectively, go on doing that for the needs of our own families and relatives in Nottinghamshire. So thank you for your question.
Thank you, Councillor Barney. We now move on to question 3 from Councillor Bethan Eddy about school admissions process. Councillor Taylor to reply. Councillor Eddy.
Thank you, Chairman. Would the Cabinet Member for Children and Families make a statement on the outcomes of this year's primary school admissions process?
Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you for the question, Councillor Eddy. Yes, I'm happy to update members. Indeed, I'm pleased to note that the Council Leader also made brief reference to the outcomes of this process in his executive report earlier today. Nottinghamshire County Council contacted thousands of parents on Monday the 17th of April to advise them which school their child has been offered for either a reception or a Year 3 primary school place. This year, 96.3% of Nottinghamshire children were offered their parents' first preference school for a reception place this September. That's 7,767 children out of a total of 8,062 who applied on time for a school place. Overall, 99.6% of Nottinghamshire's children were offered a place in one of their preferred schools. 99.6%. Communication of such information is of course key, and now there are a variety of ways to apply and to receive the outcome. Whilst parents who applied on time using the online portal were able to log on to their account to see their offer, parents who provided an email address received notification by email, and all others were sent their outcomes by post. Those who were happy with the school place offered had until Monday the 1st of May to accept that place. Parents who were unhappy with the place that their child had been offered were guided to the Nottinghamshire County Council website for more information on the school's admissions process, including how to appeal. I'm very pleased that almost all children have secured a place at one of their preferred primary schools for September 2023. It's this council's aim to continue to work closely with schools to ensure there are enough high quality school places throughout the county, and a figure of 99.6% suggests that we are doing well. I'd like to thank everyone who applied on time and all of those who provided feedback on the process. We are constantly striving to make the admissions procedure as accessible as possible and within the statutory rules that we must follow, and we will continue to do so. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Eddy, have your supplementary question.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor, for your reply. This is a very positive overall picture, but there are a very small number of families who will be disappointed with their offer. What advice would you give them specifically?
Councillor Taylor.
Thank you. And yes, Councillor Eddy, you are correct. We of course follow a statutory procedure, but of course I do sympathise with those families who do not receive the offer that they would ideally want. In those cases, the problem is not a shortage of places in an area overall, but an excess demand for particular schools. The most important thing when parents make their choices is that they check the eligibility criteria rather than making assumptions about those criteria, because sometimes the myths about what is possible through the statutory process don't actually match the facts. I would also emphasise again that parents are encouraged to exercise their right to select a full slate of preferences to maximise their chance of getting one of those preferred schools. As I stated in my earlier reply, it's only a tiny percentage who are not offered one of their preferences. I'd also reiterate that any parents disappointed with the offer this year can enter the appeals process, where an independent panel of 3 or more people will hear the appeal and reach a decision in line with the School Admissions Appeals Code. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. We will take question 4 from Councillor Paul Henshaw regarding written risk assessments for care home residents being moved to another care home. Councillor Barney to reply. Councillor Henshaw.
Thanks, Chair. This next question should cause a lot of us in this room to have a great deal of worry. Anyway, at the Governance and Ethics Committee meeting on the 3rd of May, it was confirmed that this council was found at fault when a resident with dementia was moved from one care home to another without a written risk assessment. How many care home residents have been moved in the last 12 months, and how many did not have a written risk assessment, as was the case in this instance? Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Barney.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you again, Councillor Henshaw. As we are all aware, we've seen higher than usual numbers of care homes close in recent years due to the direct and indirect impact of the COVID pandemic. Fortunately, this has stabilised due to the work in care homes with our support. In the last 12 months, 6 care homes in Nottinghamshire for the over 65s have closed, and this has impacted on 91 people. Each person and each home has a unique set of circumstances, and whilst we are responsible for supporting their work, we are not responsible for each individual. We work very closely with our Integrated Care Board and Care Quality Commission and the placing local authorities to close homes and support any resulting moves safely, focusing on the individual. We have robust and well-established processes that we have agreed with partners and that guide our staff when managing these stressful, disruptive and frankly unsatisfactory circumstances. However, I acknowledge, as did officers in Governance and Ethics Committee, where the complaint to the Ombudsman you have highlighted was scrutinised, that we do not get this right on every occasion. We did not undertake a risk assessment in that case, as you quite rightly reference, but from it, we have learned how we can make our processes more robust and more secure with additional checks on our professional practice. We have a long track record of managing home closures safely, often in emergencies, and both myself and our corporate director are deeply saddened that we let this person down. We now work much more closely with primary care networks to ensure the right information gets passed to the right place. We also now check after moves to ensure that the move was successful and that we have undertaken all the necessary work to make the move a success. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Councillor Henshaw.
Thank you, Councillor Barney. Councillor Henshaw, have you a supplementary?
Yes, Chair. Thank you for that reply, Councillor Barney. It sort of covers the next or the supplementary question, right? Because I wanted to ask you, would you guarantee that in future all such transfers, when they're undertaken, we do a written risk assessment? Because obviously it's a very important facet of somebody moving from one care home to another and making sure that everything's in place. Thanks, Chair.
Councillor Barney.
Yeah. I actually appreciate this question because I think it shows your care and concern for our residents, and it's right that this is challenged and picked up on. So I'm very happy to be answering these questions. And to give you a little bit of further reassurance, I can tell you that there's been a few other measures put in place following the report of the Ombudsman. We've sent a reminder to all our staff in our weekly practice newsletter regarding good practice for risk assessments. We've also changed the way our assessments and support plans are conducted and recorded on each person's social care record. This includes completing a joint risk assessment. And we are monitoring this improvement supervision through improvement supervision via team meetings, and we're managing and monitoring the case files through quality audits. So as far as I'm able to give that reassurance and in liaison with our officers, I'm confident that we are fulfilling our duties appropriately going forward. And I hope that continues to be the case. But I'm also very happy to have that scrutiny where appropriate, where we let the system down. Thank you, Councillor Henshaw.
Thank you, Councillor Barney. We're going to take question 5, and this is from Councillor Roger Upton. It's regarding Notts 4U wards, and Councillor Tracy to reply. Councillor Upton.
Thank you, Chairman. Would the Cabinet Member for Children and Families join me in welcoming and indeed promoting the launch of the Nottinghamshire 4 Youth Awards for 2023? Would she agree with me that these awards continue to be an excellent opportunity to recognise and celebrate the efforts of young people who have overcome challenges in their lives and made real difference in their community? Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Councillor Upton, for the question. Absolutely, yes, I will join you in welcoming and promoting the latest edition of the Council's 4 Youth Awards. This is the 12th year we've run the awards, enabling us to celebrate the achievements of young people who've overcome significant hurdles in their early life and yet have been able to show the courage and responsibility to help loved ones and their wider community, despite or sometimes even because of those challenges. Previous winners have overcome major challenges such as bereavement, trauma and illness, and yet have raised thousands for charity, cared for friends and relatives and helped others. We want to recognise the achievements of young people from all 7 districts in the county, and we're seeking nominations from anyone in Nottinghamshire who thinks they know a young person deserving of this special recognition. Whether those nominations come from friends, family, schools, youth groups, voluntary organisations, indeed councillors in this chamber. Nominations are open now until Monday the 5th of June. The district youth panels will shortlist 3 top nominees and select district winners, who will then receive their awards at a special awards ceremony in November, where this year's overall 4 Youth Award winner will be selected from amongst those 7 district winners. Full details of eligibility and how to send in nominations are available on the Notts County Council website. The 4 Youth Awards not only give deserved recognition to the nominees and winners, but their success will hopefully inspire other young people to make a similar contribution to their community. I know this award scheme has become close to the hearts of many colleagues in this chamber and beyond. And it's nice that we see so many from around the chamber at those award ceremonies. So thank you, Councillor Upton, for the question and the opportunity to give these awards the attention they deserve. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Upton, have you a supplementary question?
Thank you, Chairman. No, I thank the Cabinet Member for her very comprehensive response, and I have no supplementary. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Upton. So now we're going to break for lunch. We need to come back by quarter to 2. Yeah.
Longer. Yes. It's a bonus 10 minutes.
Well, we've got some guests.